So we can solve by graphing, but we can also use the equation to solve by substitution. The word substitute means to replace, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out what one of the variables is equal to, and then we are going to replace it into the opposite or other equation. Remember, all answers for systems are x, y. So we need both variables, not only x, but we need y. The only exception is for no solution or infinitely many. Okay. So here are the steps. Make sure you get these down. The first step is that you need one equation in slope-intercept form, or you could have it solved for x. Either way, you need a variable isolated. Once you have that, you're going to remove the variable in the other equation and substitute in for what it's equal to. We'll then solve, and then we're going to have to plug it back in and solve for the other variable. We first solve for like x, and then we solve for y. Let's try one together. All right, so I'm looking for either one of my equations to be in y equals mx plus b, or for x to be isolated. And I have that in my second equation. I'm going to put a box around it, and we are going to substitute into the first equation. So we didn't have to do step number 1. We can go right to step number 2. Step number 1 was done for us. So we are going to keep the 2. We're going to keep the x. We're going to keep the plus sign, the 3. We're going to take away the y. I'm going to put parentheses where the y is. I'm going to put the equal sign and the 6. In place of that y, I am putting what all of the y is equal to. So negative 2/3 x plus 3. That's step number 2. Now we're going to do step number 3, which is to solve. I'm going to distribute because I have parentheses. Combine our like terms together. They cancel out. We have 9 is equal to 6. This is a special case. We don't have a variable. The variable's canceled out. So this is either no solution or infinitely many. It just happens to be that these are not equal to each other. So this is no solution. Let's try another example. So we're going to have y is equal to negative 2x plus 6, and 2y is equal to 2x plus 3. We again have a variable solved for to start with. So we don't need to do step number 1. We're just going to take it and we're going to plug it in to the other equation. The 2 stays the same. In place of the y, I put parentheses, and then the equal sign and everything on the right of that stays the same. So 2x plus 3. So I did 2, I put parentheses for the y, equals 2x plus 3. In place of that y, we're going to put our negative 2x plus 6, because we're saying that this y, these are the same y, is equal to this. So we can substitute it in to the other equation. Now that we did that, we can solve. So I'm going to distribute. Forgot to change my pen color. This time we have variables on opposite sides, so we use our opposite signs to bring them together. You have a 2-step equation, so we'll minus 12. We'll divide off that negative 6. We get x is equal to 3/2. Now that we have one variable, now we're going to take that variable, and I always plug it back into the square that I've already made. So we're going to plug it back in for x, or substitute it back in. So we have y is equal to -2. I'm substituting for the x, so I put parentheses where the x is, and then plus 6. In that parentheses, I'm going to put that 3 halves. We're going to solve for y, and y is equal to 3. 6 looks wonky. There we go. Remember, every answer has to be a point. So we put in our x value, and we found our y value. So now we have that xy point. That's how you solve by substitution.